Turning now to a WDBJ7 Investigates special report on the chronic absenteeism crisis in the classroom.
Across our hometown, school districts say children simply are not going to school as much as they were before the pandemic, and it's impacting their education.
WDBJ7 anchor and investigative reporter Chloe Vincenti joins us now. Chloe, you started this investigation, we know, months ago after obtaining a copy of an email from Roanoke County Schools.
That's right. It all began when we verified this email from Roanoke County Principal Jill Green through the Freedom of Information Act. It states Northside High School was at risk of losing state accreditation due to chronic absenteeism. That led us to dig into the number of students who are missing a significant amount of school each year in dozens of schools across our hometowns. And what we've uncovered is unsettling. Local and state education leaders tell us it's now one of the top issues they're working to solve.
We cannot educate our children if our children are not there at school.
Archie Freeman is the chief academic officer at Roanoke City Schools. Right now, one of his most important tasks is overseeing chronic absenteeism. According to the Virginia Department of Education, the chronic absenteeism rate in Roanoke City last year was 27%. Freeman says the district has several processes in place to try to keep parents engaged in their child's attendance.
We have letters that we do mail to let them know that the student has already missed 5 consecutive days or 5 days in general, and we're concerned about their attendance, and we want to be able to have a meeting with them. That's the next step.
Numbers from this past school year show that in the district, more than 3,500 kids were chronically absent. So those parents and families were well aware of that.
Yes.
By U.S. law, children have to go to school, so parents who continue to not send them could face a judge in court. Right now, 9 Roanoke City schools are listed by the Virginia Department of Education as a Level 3 for chronic absenteeism. Level 3 means 25% or more of the students are chronically absent.
But before the pandemic, our percentages were way lower than that. Of course, they are now.
Roanoke County Superintendent Dr. Ken Nicely says it's an issue he's tackling in his school district too.
We definitely have seen a rise. We looked at the data comparing pre-pandemic to just the last couple years.
He believes part of the issue has to do with attendance practices that were encouraged during the pandemic, like keeping kids home sick even when they only had mild symptoms. While that was protocol at the time, school leaders statewide are now stressing the importance of getting attendance levels back to normal.
The impetus to look at chronic absenteeism is a fairly new requirement that actually comes down from the federal level and then the state level as well. And so it was defined as if a student misses more than 10% of the school year for any reason.
10% of the school year averages out to 18 days. Nicely says the impact of missing that much school doesn't only affect the individual students anymore. The entire school could face the consequences.
So we've always, looked at absenteeism and attendance, but because of these new federal and state requirements, it's kind of put it front and center because the accreditation piece can become in jeopardy.
This email we obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request shows the urgency of the issue. Northside High School Principal Jill Green sent this message to all staff back on April 24th as the school year was wrapping up. It reads in part, quote, NHS is in jeopardy of not making state accreditation this year because of ... the chronic absentee component. While currently all Roanoke County schools are accredited, Nicely says it's a real concern.
We do have several schools that if the trends were to continue, that could become in jeopardy for future years.
Green's email states Northside High School's chronic absenteeism rate last year was 25%, but the official numbers published on the state's website say the absenteeism rate was 18.5%, putting the school at a Level 2 for chronic absenteeism.
How did you turn that around?
Yeah, so what we do at any of the schools is, we're finalizing our data, and we have to go back and double check, see if there's errors, see if there's anything that's been miscoded.
Overall, the Virginia Department of Education reports about 15% of Roanoke County students were chronically absent this past school year. Across Virginia, the rate is even higher. State Superintendent Lisa Kuhn says combating chronic absenteeism has become a major initiative.
We have had a campaign across the state, and our school divisions are really working collaboratively with us to talk to families about the importance of attendance.
This past school year, Virginia's statewide chronic absentee rate was 19.47%. Is that concerning for you?
It's absolutely concerning because prior to the pandemic, our statewide average was 10%, which is still too high.
With recent standards of learning assessments confirming learning loss in many students, school districts everywhere are being tested, and the pressure to pass is higher than ever.
We're trying to dig into what are some of the things that cause that, what can we do to promote attendance, and frankly, it's a very complicated issue because I think there are a lot of variables at play.
And I'm pleading with parents to please send your child to school.
Quite a message there. Chloe, the learning loss is happening is so concerning, but it seems like the big message here is what we just heard. It's up to parents. Get your child to school.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The school districts I spoke with say they're working to find new ways to make school exciting, to make kids want to come, but there's only so much that they can do at the end of the day. It really is the parents' responsibility to get their kids to class.
Good message. Chloe, thank you.